Welcome, computer app students, to the video on how to do the develop your skills. What I want you to do is make sure you have your lesson 1 tracking customer data chapter out that I gave you that you have been using to complete the worksheet. This is the first step. Remember, the goal of this chapter is you are learning how to use Excel to enter detailed information into a worksheet. Then you will discover fundamental ways to create and modify a simple worksheet. By the end, you will have a strong base of information that will allow you to progress into the more in-depth chapters that are coming. The first thing I want to show you is how each of the chapters is set up. When you look past the first page, you go to the second page of your chapter. You will be familiar with the information that the chapter introduces because you have been filling out the worksheet. Now that the worksheet is complete, it is time to do the production piece of the class. We are going to do the develop your skills. Remember, I said in class the develop your skills has a section for each step that you're doing, and then there are also steps within the section that you are going to have to follow. For the first part, and you should be on page 2, E1D1, basically what this tells you is to open a new Excel workbook. To do that, you go to the bottom of your page. You click Excel. You click blank workbook. Double click and your workbook will look like this. For the full screen, your workbook will be a bit bigger. Since you have this paper on a table or on your lap, you can have this full screen on your computer. If you go through the steps, you've opened the blank workbook. This step, D1, is now done. Now we have to look for the second step. Where would it be in the worksheet? Not on this page. Is it on this page? Nope, I just see looking at completing cell entries. Is it on this page? Yes, it is. Develop your skills. Remember, E1 just means we're doing Excel lesson 1. D2 means you're doing the second step in develop your skills. So the first thing it's going to tell you to do, and the way that this works is you follow these steps directly in order to be able to create, and most of the time in the develop your skills, they'll show you what it's going to look like when you're done. Your first step is to save your workbook as, and it will tell you the file name. So you're going to save it in the beginning as E1 D2 invoices. Go to File, Save As. Once you hit Save As, it's going to open this up. You're going to choose Browse. Then, depending on where you saved your ACA folder, your Advanced Computer Apps folder, for some of you it's going to be on the desktop. You're going to double click the ACA folder. Probably what's in here is your 3 favorite foods. Then you're going to name it what it told you to. E1 D2 invoices. Then you are going to hit Save. What I want you to notice is here is the name of your invoice. Once you've saved it correctly, that's where you'll know that you did it. Now we move to the next step. So we've done number 1. If you like to cross things off, which I like to do, you can. It's up to you. Now it says type Airspace Travel Company in cell A1 and then tapped Enter to complete the entry. So you will click cell A what? A1. It is an A1. Now what are you going to type? Air Space Travel company. Then it says tap enter to complete the entry. Notice that, and the book tells you this, notice that cell A2 is now active. How do I know that a cell is active? It is boxed in like this with the green. That shows you where your cursor is, where your insertion point is. An insertion point is where you're able to type the information. Now, done step 2. Step 3, type monthly customer invoices in cell A2 and tap enter to complete the entry. Now I'm going to tell you in these directions as we move on, they're going to tell you to hit enter, and you're going to think, well, that's ridiculous. I know to do that. There are times that you're going to want to hit other keys. So this is showing you to go from cell A1 down to cell A2. You can tap enter. So we've done that. Now we're going to type monthly, type it correctly, customer invoices. They want you to tap enter. Now they're going to give you a hint. So far you've used the enter key to move down column A. And as you noticed, every time we hit enter, we went from cell A1 to cell A2 to cell A3. So far you've used the enter key to move down the column A. Now you'll use the tab key to move across row 3 as you enter more data. So step number 4, type first name in cell A3. So in cell A3 you type the words first name. Then tap to complete the entry and move one cell to the right. Type last name in cell B3. So as you notice, B3, now we're going to type last name. Notice that the first name in the text in the cell A3 is no longer fully visible because it's wider than column A. Long entries are often cut off like this when the cell to their right contains data. So this is kind of an FYI. They want you to remember that. Question for the future. How can we change this? I wonder if it's going to tell us. I don't know. Let's find out. All right, step number 6 says type provider in cell C3 and tap what? Yeah, the tab key. All right, so we are going to move down. I'm going to click. You can tab, enter, whatever you want to do. Now in cell C3, which is right here, you are to type provider. Tap tab. In D3, you are to type in destination. All right. Tab. In cell E3, you are going to type number of guests. Do not type the word number. Type it exactly the way they're doing it. They put that you need to type this number of guests in E3. Then it tells you, this time click enter. Ooh, click this on the formula bar. Wonder what that's going to do. Now, you have this. I want you to compare it to step 8. Does it look the same? Then it says for step 9, save your workbook. Inside of the textbook, I have annotated to keep you on track. So you can hit save, which is this button here in your quick access toolbar. See how it's saving? Now it's saved. You can do file, save. So there's 2 different ways to save. And now you are done with E1D2. Now I need to figure out what they want us to do with E1D3. All right, turn the page. We didn't have to go too far. You're on page 6. Now we're going to be doing Excel Lesson 1, Develop Your Skills, for Section 3. I wonder what we're going to learn. In this exercise, you will enter customer data below in each of the column headings. Interesting. The first step is for you to save your workbook as this. So you will go File, Save As. This shows you what folder you're already in. I've just saved it. I'm already in there. We're going to now name this E1 D3 Invoices. Let me move it over a little bit so I can see. Then you can hit Save here. That will save it in your folder. So now, let's just for giggles, gosh, I have a lot open. If we go to the ACA folder, this is what we saved when we were doing E1D2, and this is where we are with E1D3. So it will save each of your steps. All right, let's figure out where I was. All right, this is where we were. So now you're going to follow step number 2. Click cell A4 to select it, and then enter the following data for Eric Snow in row 4 using the tab key to complete each entry. So under the first name, you are going to type Eric, tab over, Snow, tab over, provider, Sunwind, tab over, Jamaica. All right, so now notice that the active cell moves to A5. At the beginning of the new row. Oh, I see. Destination Jamaica. When I'm in E4, I hit enter. It takes me down to Excel presumes you are finished entering data in the row and wish to start a new row. This is their one data entry features. Interesting. So, as long as you enter data using the tab key continuously from left to right, the enter key will bring you back to the first column of the data. All right. So now we're going to type Allison in cell A5. So we're going to go A5, type Allison. I'm going to tab Labasco in cell B5 and only type the letter S in cell C5. Notice how and see what happens. It will remember this. So if you have something to where you are going to have a word that repeats throughout the document, you just have to hit tab and it puts it in there for you. Okay, so that's an interesting feature of this. Tap the tab key to accept the suggestion. So that's what they called it. When it went gray, it was called a suggestion. And continue entering the rest of the customer information from the table starting in D5. All right, so we are going to start here, and then you're going to enter the rest of the data in the table. All right, I want you to pause the video. I want you to type in this information into the spreadsheet. All right, pause the video and do it, and unpause it when you're done. This is what it should look like when you're done typing it. If you need to take a picture of it, pause the video and do that. Now you see at the end it says save your workbook. Then you save the workbook. How do you save the workbook? Yeah, right here, save. We already named it E1D3 Invoices. All right, so there you go. That's how you do the first 3 steps. We are done with this one. Now we go and find D4. Next page, page 7. Develop your skills. E1, D4. All right, we're going to save the workbook as, so every time we go, the first thing we're going to do when we start a new step is save it as, File, Save As. One thing I want you to realize, you can click within the file name, backspace, hit 4, you're good to go. That changes the name. Hit save. It's in that folder on your desktop. Oops. Oops. All right. I'm trying to position it without clicking on anything. Not as easy as it looks. All right. Now, we saved our workbook. Bam. Now we're going to follow these steps to manually adjust the width of column A. Move the mouse pointer over the line between column A and B to display the adjust pointer. So when you hover, see how when you're hovering over this you have a down arrow? If you click that, that highlights the whole column. All right, if you don't want that, you click off the document. When you hover your mouse between A and B, do you notice how you get the plus with the arrows going? All right, so what that does is that allows you to adjust. So you are going to press and hold down the mouse, and you are going to drag it to the right. How far? Good question. Until the first name is fully visible. Ooh. All right, I'm going to hold it down and move it back because my first name is fully visible. How about right there? All right, as you drag the column width, so this is where you play around with it. Play around with the arrows. See what you want it to look like. But then what they're going to tell you is that they want you to widen column B. All right. And you're going to right click it and it says column width. All right, I'm at 9.7. They want us to be at 10. Type in 10, hit OK. It opens up a little bit more. Look at column C. Click above it, downward arrow, right click, column width. Oh, we were at 8 there. Oops, not 41. Okay. All right, that's how you can adjust and make all your columns be equal. Now it looks like column C. Yep, we did column C. Look at that. There's more steps on the back of page number 8. Now, I want you to start doing this on your own. You finish 5 through 8. Then you save the workbook. Here, it's telling you you just have to click save once you can have completed steps 5 through 9. All right, then once you've done that, you're going to go and you are going to complete E1, D5. You are going to complete these 10 steps. Turn the page. Complete it to 12. Just click save. Remember, at the beginning, they had you saving it. All right. This shows you what it's going to look like. Then go on to step D6. Keep going until you finish all the steps. So after you finish this, D6, then there's a D7, D8, D9, D10. That's when you know you are finished with the develop and you have learned all your skills. All right, I hope the video helped you. See you in class.